Like, funny enough, when you said that, yeah, I spoke to the last interview, big up DJ Joey, one of my favorite DJs from Scotland, yeah. Like, we spoke about mental health, innit? And like what I told him, I've got this way of how I deal with like when I'm having a bad day, a bad
Yeah.
week, whatever. For me, I like to tap into all of my different emotions, good or bad. So
Yeah.
when I'm going through whatever life challenges, I like to have
Yeah.
like a day or two to just sit in my bullshit, to
Yeah.
feel like shit, to
Yeah.
feel sorry for myself. Because what this does for me, after a
Yeah.
good day or two, literally, it must be, I call it my higher self. It's like I remind
Yeah.
myself like, okay, we felt these emotions, chef. Now get up, like let's find a solution. Stop feeling
Yeah.
sorry for yourself, and let's
Yeah.
pattern this and keep it moving. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I think like it's important for me anyway. Obviously, we can tell people to do this and do that, but someone might not have the capacity that I've got to do with certain things
Yeah.
the way I do it, innit?
Yeah.
So, but I think overall in general, like what you said, it's very important to find a way to, like when you're going through something or whatever, yeah, allow it, go through it, feel
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
emotions. But the key here is to never, try to stay there for too long. That's
Exactly.
the key.
I
Never
don't
try
like
to
to
stay there
sit
for
in that,
too long.
yeah, negative emotion for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get me? You might for a week, a
Yeah.
day or two, but don't stay there for too long, because after a while you just need to just use it like what you said, just use it as like, cool, how can I deal with this? Or like as a lesson, you get me? As a lesson,
Yeah.
part of grant. This life thing, it could be beautiful, but I feel like it depends how you look at so many different things. And I understand it's
Perspective, yeah. And
perspective.
that's how I feel about with my EP. I feel like the funny thing is every song can relate to anything I'm going through in that moment. So with me, like I have a song on my EP called PTSD, and it's like everything I've dealt with mentally.
Yeah.
And so when I had been in that moment, I'm like, okay, that really resonates with me. But then I also have a song called The Alchemist. I'm like, let me turn pain into power. Like I've done the crying, I've done the breakdown, I've done that. Okay, now let's get back up again. Yeah. And it makes me feel happy when I'm out of it, when I'm like, you know what, like you went through that, but you bounced back. So anytime that you are going to go through something catastrophic, you know how to get yourself back up a lot quicker than the last time. So yeah.
And do you have like you see with your music, do you have like any like EPs or any body of works out there? Like
Yeah.
you've got body of works,
Oh,
like
no.
EPs, mixtapes, or anything like that.
Yes, yeah.
Talk about your EP. Yeah, let me just call it.
Okay.
Talk about your EP.
Yeah, so with my EP, it's more of a case of like, I'm a very spiritual person. So with my EP, everything I do is with extreme intention. It's with like everything I do has a very like, it's not by accident. It's very well intended with my EP. So I made sure that my EP had 7 songs. Because I just associate number 7 with learning for some weird reason. I always think, okay, learning. What am I learning? And so I made sure I had 7 songs. And then the first song is called Awkward Confidence. So that's just my stage name. It's an introduction. It's the first song on it. So it's introducing me. Okay. And then I have the second song on it. It's called PTSD. So it's about the struggles I've gone through, mental health. And part of it, like, it's more about how I find it very hard to open up and trust people and be vulnerable. So I like to, keep things in. But then I have the third song, which is The Alchemist. So it's all about, you know what, we've done that. What can we take from that? What can we learn? How do we get back up? Let me alchemize that pain into power. And then I have the fourth song, which is more about gender war. So, the split between men and women, why we fighting when we can just be loving each other, things like that. What perspectives do we both have? How do we meet in the middle? And then I have the fifth song, which is Audacity, and that's all about feeling like underestimated and feeling like, like someone may not see the vision the way I see it, but it's fine because you know what, I'm still gonna shine. Like this, like the audacity, I'm making music, I'm living my truth. That's my audacity,
Yeah.
And then the sixth song is Feminine Energy. So it's learning how to step into that soft, like that energy of receiving. Because I know a lot of people associate feminine with like women, men, but I see it more as an energy. So be more receptive, and I feel like that's something I struggled with. I'm so used to being like, let me go after this masculine, and let me do this. If I want this, let me go after this. And sometimes it's okay to receive. So receive support, receive help, receive love. It's okay to be loved and nurtured. And then the last song on it is called zen. So it's all about everything in life is balance.
I
Balance
love
is
that word,
key.
zen.
Yeah, balance is key to everything. So, and I released it all on the 9th of September. So that's the 9th day on the 9th month. And that was also for a purpose. Because 9 to me just represents the ending, you know, before, you know. So I'm like, okay, this is all what I've taken from my adulthood so far. So I've compiled it into a song. So yeah.
Okay. You see, once again, like me proper listening again, like you can tell you're a person who, you know, who puts thoughts into everything that you do within your
Yeah.
music. You got to understand. You see the way you was breaking down your song. Even like obviously people are gonna be watching this, they're
Yeah,
gonna see. You see
yeah.
even the titles, how you're breaking them down. Because again, I'm very big on this word, hence why I called, you know, our platform Reality Team TV. You see
Yeah.
reality, you see like in real life, like so many things happen and it's like nah, man, big yourself at the way you break. Artists like you that really, really like put, you know, as much effort as you can into your music. And even when you sit down with people like us and really, really break it down to, you know, what it meant, this and that. Once again, I'm in. So where can I get where can I listen, where could people listen to this EP, and yeah, what's the best place for this for the people to listen to the EP?
So you guys could listen to it on Spotify, Awkward Confidence, or there's my YouTube channel, which is Awkward Confidence. I have 3 music videos out from that EP so far, but I do intend to put out a music video for every single song. I'm very visual. I like to see, I like to understand, like what's the message, what's the story. So yeah.
You see with what you go through, like in your life, innit? Yeah, like in your reality. Once again, you can probably tell by now. I fucking love the word reality, innit? Like when you see, like when it comes to your music,
Yeah.
and your real life, your
Yeah.
personal life, yeah.
Yeah.
How much of that do you incorporate into your music?
I feel like in the beginning, because I used to struggle with being too vulnerable. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I used to, let me make music, but not like, I don't want to talk about my pain or struggles or things like that. Let me just make it more about the world, you know? Because with me, even though like, I like to identify myself as someone who could be very like sensitive, empathic. When I do see and hear things about the news, it does affect me more than it should, because it's like, why am I so affected by something that's happening to someone else? But for some reason it affects me.
Yeah.
So a lot of my music was inspired by what's going around the world and what's happening. But then when I started going through things, I had this, I used to do this thing where I've mastered the art of making people feel like they're listening about my life. But really it's like, it's very like, it's still covered. Like you still can't know for certain, you know? But then even with my song PTSD, I'm not talking about what has given me PTSD. I'm not talking about what has happened in my life. I'm just talking about the effects of having it. So it's like, in that way, it's like you don't know what's happened in my life, but you know how I have responded to such things, you know? So with me, I do try my best to not spill too much, because, you know, I don't know, like I feel like a bit too exposed. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I know artists, like their heart is like, they want to put their heart and soul into things usually, and they do want to, you know, give all the tea. But I think that's a journey that I'm willing to work through here and there. But yeah, everything I rap about is something that I can relate to as well, though. So I'm not one of those, you know, people talk about like, I have this mansion, this car, this thing. Yeah, I don't. And I would never rap about it if I don't have it. So no, I can only rap about things that I can actually relate to. But yeah.
Because
you're trying to give people a bit more stuff to look forward to in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than just spill everything in one and then have like 2 hits.
Exactly.
Rather keep it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So that, you know, they're waiting for the next one and the next one and the next one.
Yeah.
It's a good way to go about it.
Because also, yeah, like, I'll be honest with you, I'm a very open book, innit? Yeah? But, you see, like in this life, once again, part of growth shows me, just because you're an open book, man, it doesn't mean you should fucking go out there and tell everybody your laundry and this and that. Nah, because people are wicked, innit? Yeah?
Yeah, and
people
that
are gonna
was my
wicked.
fear.
Yeah, they're gonna
that
judge
someone
you.
use something against me.
Yeah, literally. So I got to a point where even in private, people are telling me, listen, I know you're good in your own skin and you own, you know, things that you've been through, good or bad. But the world doesn't work like that. You get me? So when you were saying like you find different ways how to obviously, you know, to put, you know, whatever you're going through like in your music, but not too blatant, and you got to say like I rate it because I feel like that's the way it should be, because I feel like man, people could be wicked sometimes. So the fact that you're finding different ways to put it into your music, big yourself up, man. You get what I'm
I
trying to
feel
say?
like it works even both ways. So in the sense that if I was to be overly open about everything I've gone through, people can use it against me. But I've also met people who are open about everything that's gone in their life, and then I will ask them, like, because they've written songs about it, I'm like, oh, did this really happen to you, or things like that. And then they'll be like say for example, if someone has really bad intentions for me, but in a song that they've written something about like their experience or what they've done or how they view people, I would ask them, like, especially if it's in a context of men, like, when men like, they rap about things to do with, like, women and like what they've done or things that I will ask them. I'm like, oh, is it true? Like, is this your mentality on this? Is this what you really believe? And some people like be like, no, I'm just rapping. Like, that's just a thing. And then I get to realize that no, like, that's really how they felt.
That
so
was
like, your. So it makes me feel like when other people do it, I'm like, okay, I'm watching cautiously now.
Yeah. So that's a bit funny. So
yeah.
So what you're saying, actually, certain people actually, they end up putting whatever they've gone through on in the song, and then later on, do you think some of them maybe because of some of their reaction they might have got through the song or whatever, maybe some of them got a little bit embarrassed, or they just thought, you know what, because I'm not getting the reaction that I really thought overall. Nah, let me not say it. This is actually my story.
Okay.
I'm just rapping. You got to say, because that could happen as well. Like, I could be a music.
That could also happen. Yeah.
I could be a music artist, like I said. Wear my heart on my sleeve,
yeah.
Go into the studio, say all of these things, and for me, think, this is gonna be good. I've let everything out, and then people might start trolling me. These people might start saying all of these things, and then I might meet you, maybe we're going on a date or getting to know each other, and I'm like, and you ask me, babe, did this really happen about you? I'm like, and I might say to you, I can't lie. Nah, I just chatting shit. I can't lie what they talk. You got to listen. So I think it depends, innit? But again, sometimes I feel like you just need to. For me, I feel like the best way anyway. Like the way you're doing it, honestly, not to sound biased, but I feel like the way you're doing it is like it's perfect. You're putting in your life, but you're finding ways to put it in rather than just giving it to them
I
like
prefer it that
this,
way.
Like,
and I'm a parent. I don't want my kids to grow up and go like, oh yeah, So it's a bit. Yeah.
Even with that, also you're a founder of. I don't want to get it wrong, by the way. Could you let the people know what you're a founder of?
Gemini Empress, is that?
Yes, Gemini Empress. Let's talk about that.
So I'm into reading energy a lot.
Ooh. Shit.
Don't get scared.
Let me go outside and give my energy.
That's my thing right there.
Nah, we got good energies on there. Clean energies.
I'm into reading energy. I'm a very intuitive person usually.
Yeah.
And being intuitive doesn't always mean that like every single thing about life and you can avoid all problems, but because sometimes we can turn a blind eye to our own intuitive energy as well. But
True.
It started off as doing something like it started off as me just doing it like because I felt like doing it, but I didn't know why I felt drawn to do it. And I was just thinking, I don't know why, but I feel the urge to do these things. And it started off with me watching someone do it. It just came on like recommended on YouTube. And then I was watching their video and I'm like, whoa, this really resonates with my life. But then what I didn't realize is that I had things like cards and all these things in my family house. My dad had them. I didn't know he even knew about these things.
Oh, right.
I was like, oh, that's weird. That's very strange. But I didn't know what it was. But then I'm like, okay, let me use it as a form of like divination. Like, what decision, like, do I feel like I need more to it? Let me test myself, things like that. And then from then on, it just became a thing where I'm like, let me just do things online like this. I didn't expect it to go anywhere. I wasn't trying to make it go anywhere. In fact, most of the time I'd hide it because I'm like, it has a taboo to it. And people may interpret it in a really weird way. So I'm like, it's not something I want to be, out in the open about. But then all of a sudden, it just started blowing up. A lot of people started tuning in. People started wanting to pay me. And then YouTube started to monetize me. So I'm like, oh, okay. So people really do enjoy things like that. I was kind of doing it more so for myself. But, if people are into that, people are into that. And I really do see it as a source of guidance. Not like, oh, this is what you must do. This is what will happen. It's more like a source of guidance. It's a confirmation of what your intuition already knows. Okay. So it's not like I'm telling you anything new. It's like your intuition knows something and I'm just confirming it or denying it. Do you see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That sounds absolutely interesting,
Yeah.
Like, so how does it work in terms of that people contacting you? For example, if I'm watching this and I'm like, and I want to contact you, how does that work?
I provide an email in the description, and a lot of the time people will be emailing me for guidance and what's going on and what's, things like that. Yeah. And then I give them a service and I do it in a video format. So I'll film myself, I'll shuffle, I'll do all these things in front of them and then I'll send it to them. And, and if I'm someone who, say for example, if someone didn't like it, like I'm open to any sort of criticism, but a lot of the time I've never really received anyone that says I was wrong. They're just kind of like, I actually really found this helpful. I really needed this guidance. This kind of confirmed what I really knew. This, this put me on the right. So then I just keep on going with it. And yeah, but with YouTube itself, on that channel, it's monetized. So I even do general reading. So even if people don't want personal readings, everything's general reading. So people just take whatever resonates with their life, whatever doesn't. And it's not for everyone. So if it resonates with someone's life, then it's for them. If it doesn't resonate with them, it's not for them. It's not like this is the be all end all. I'm the book of knowledge. Nothing like that, Yeah. So, yeah.
Like, I like these kind of things because, again, these kind of things, like what you're saying, they're not for everybody.
Yeah.
You got what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Even like what I was saying to you, I think, off camera at the beginning of our conversation, in terms of like what I always tell so many different people, in terms of like, every human being is spiritual, but I feel like it's your choice to, if you want to tap into your higher self or leave it or to act like as if we're not all spiritual and to just go by just God or whatever you do in your life.
Exactly.
You get me? So even this goes back to this. It's like, you might have two people there. You might believe it, and that person might not believe it. Even with this, like, some people get ignorant sometimes, innit?
Yeah.
Some people hate what they don't believe. And this is why when it comes to these things, rather than certain people doing research, educating themselves on these things a bit more, you know, that some ignorant people, they just shut it down straight away and they start talking shit.
That's the thing. I'm very open-minded because with me, like, no matter what it is, regardless of whether it's energy, tarot, or anything, it's more to do with, like, I'm very open-minded to see it. Like, I won't be quick to shut something down. I'm like, okay, let me see your perspective. Why do you believe this? What led you to this? Like, let me research for myself. Like, I would never just be like, because I don't know, you know? So, yeah.
So what are you looking in future like? Again, are you looking to just, obviously, are you happy with the way it's going at the moment for you? Like, even for that, do you have like any plans for it moving forward in future in terms of like making it bigger in different ways, to putting it out there in different ways, in different areas, so for more people can see it? Like, do you have any plans for it, like, moving forward?
It's weird because a lot of people who I know who watch me, they feel like I should take it further with... I'm like,
it sounds like it.
But with me, it's like, because I never see it that way. I just see it as long as it's helpful to someone, I'm getting paid, and it's... Like, I feel like that's enough, but then they're like, you could take it further.
That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, because on that channel, it's 11,000 subscribers, and I feel like I took, I think 2 or 3 years, like, out of it, where I didn't post anything, and then I just re-entered it again, and it makes me feel like maybe if I didn't take that break, I'd be a lot further.
Definitely.
But yeah, it's growing. I feel like it's always going to keep growing. It's one of those things where, okay, if it gets to a point where I won't need to work as a teacher, because I do enjoy working as a teacher, but I don't see it as something I'll do forever, you know? If I won't have to work as a teacher, then it makes me feel like, okay, it's more flexible, more time with my kids, more time doing this, more time making music. It feels more, because with that one, it's more like you work when you work. It's self-employment, you know?
Yeah.
But with teachers, like, no, there's a set time, you have to come in, there's a minimal amount of you'll get paid, you know? So, yeah.